You hear that? That's 70,000 people losing their minds inside a $5.5 billion stadium in Inglewood, California. And this guy, standing outside, hand on the wall, like he's trying to field a game through the concrete. He built the place. His name is Marco. He's an electrician. He spent 2 years wiring SoFi Stadium for the biggest sporting event in American history. Every floodlight, every scoreboard, every outlet in every VIP suite where the beer costs $17. Marco wired all of it. He can't afford a ticket. Welcome to Money Kid. This is a story about the most expensive party in the history of the human species. A party so big it spans 3 countries and 16 cities. So expensive that the security bill alone, just the security, costs more than some nations' entire GDP. It's the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And it is, without exaggeration, the single largest money printing machine ever invented by organized sports. But here's what nobody talks about. Who actually pays for the party and who gets locked outside? Marco Reyes, 34, second-generation Mexican-American, electrician by trade, father by purpose. For 2 years, Marco wired SoFi Stadium for its World Cup transformation. He knows the building like a surgeon knows a body. Which circuits feed the Jumbotron, which breakers protect the broadcast booth, which junction box he replaced at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday because the inspector was coming at dawn.
Papa, they announced it. USA plays at SoFi, our stadium.
It's not our stadium, mijo.
You built it.
I wired it.
Same thing. Can we go? Can we go?
We'll see.
We'll see. The universal parental translation of, I have no idea how to pay for this. Now let's zoom out. While Marco was crawling through electrical conduits, FIFA was building something too. Not a stadium, something bigger, a revenue cycle. Every 4 years, FIFA resets the clock, and this cycle, 2023 to 2026, is projected to pull in $13 billion. The 2026 tournament alone, about $9 billion. 13 billion. That's not a sports league. That's a small country's economy running on cleats and broadcast rights. December 11th, 2025. FIFA opens the ticket lottery. You don't buy a ticket. You request the privilege of being allowed to buy one, and then you wait. Over 33 days, fans from every country on Earth submitted their applications. 15 million requests per day. The final count? 500 million ticket requests. That is FIFA's own number. 500 million requests said, I want in. All of it aimed at a tournament with roughly 6.5 million tickets total. By FIFA's own count, the tournament was oversubscribed more than 30 times. 30 hands fighting for every single chair. Marco was one of them. Category 3, the cheapest option. 1 ticket for him, 1 for Diego.
Okay, it's done.
When do we find out?
January, maybe February.
That's forever.
Yeah, it is.
Now let's do what Marco did at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night, staring at his laptop while Diego slept. Let's do the math. Even if he wins the lottery, even if he beats the odds, here's what the cheapest option actually costs. Group stage ticket at SoFi, Category 3. Face value, around $400 per ticket. But that's just the cover charge. Let's add the extras. Hotels in World Cup host cities? Prices surged an average of 328%. That modest room that usually costs $150 a night? Now it's over $600. Food, parking, $17 beers, and stadium food priced like the beef is artisanal. Add it all up. The average cost to attend a single World Cup match in America, 1 ticket, 2 nights, food, transport, $5,440 per person. Marco needs 2 tickets, him and Diego. That's $10,880. Marco makes $52,000 a year before taxes. $10,880 is 20% of his annual income. For one afternoon, or as Marco put it to himself at 11:47 that night,
That's 2 months of rent for 90 minutes.
and here's the thing that'll keep you up at night. That's the cheap option. The World Cup final at MetLife Stadium, top-tier seats, $10,990 per ticket for the same 90 minutes. February 2026, the lottery results arrive. Marco didn't get tickets. Neither did the overwhelming majority of everyone who applied. But that's cold comfort when your kid is asking every day after school.
Papa, did we get?
Not this time, buddy.
It's okay.
It was not okay. But before we figure out what Marco does next, let's follow the money. Because if hundreds of millions of ticket requests can't get in, where does all that cash actually go? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the machine. Step 1. Broadcast rights. Global networks paid FIFA billions just for the right to point cameras at grass. Broadcast money is the single biggest slice of FIFA's income. Billions locked in before a single ticket is ever sold. Step 2. Sponsors. You think those boards around the pitch are decoration? The biggest brands on earth each pay somewhere between $50 and $100 million to be associated with 90 minutes of men chasing a ball. And God help any restaurant within a mile of a stadium that uses the phrase World Cup without a licensing agreement. FIFA's lawyers will find you before the halftime whistle. Step 3. Tickets and hospitality. Here's where it gets fun. Remember those $10,000 final tickets? That's the peasant door. FIFA also sells hospitality packages, a private suite or a table for your group at the final with food and drinks. That runs well into 6 figures. Step 4. The merch, the licensing. The sticker album that costs hundreds of dollars to complete because they know your kid will cry until every page is full. Add it all up. About $9 billion from this single tournament. Let me put that in perspective. $9 billion is more than the entire yearly economy of over 40 countries. And FIFA's full 4-year cycle, $13 billion, out-earns what the NBA or Major League Baseball brought in last season. And the best part, FIFA is technically a nonprofit. I'll let that one sit. So where does $9 billion go? Let's start with the players, or rather the countries. FIFA announced prize money of $871 million for this tournament. That's more than any sporting event has ever distributed. The champion takes home roughly $50 million. Sounds generous, right? $871 million out of $9 billion. That's under 10%. FIFA keeps more than 90% of the tournament's revenue and calls the rest a record-breaking contribution. Imagine you bake a cake and sell it for $10. You hand the people who made the party worth attending about 97 cents and issue a press release about your unprecedented generosity. Now let's talk about who really gets paid. Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old, still playing, still earning. His annual income, according to Forbes, roughly $300 million. His club salary alone is reported around 200 million euros a year. One player, earning more in a year than the World Cup champion team earns for winning the whole tournament. Diego has a Ronaldo poster on his wall. Marco would need to work more than 5,000 years at his current salary to earn what Ronaldo makes in one. Now, back to Marco. The lottery is done, but capitalism has a backup plan. It's called the resale market. On FIFA's own resale platform, the average cheapest ticket for a group stage match at SoFi Stadium runs over $1,000. And that's the average cheapest. The seats where you can actually see the players' faces? 2, 3, 4,000. Marco has a 2004 Ford F-150 sitting in the driveway, worth maybe $5,000. 2 tickets at $1,000 each. Parking, food. He could just about do it. All he has to do is sell the truck he drives to work, the truck he needs to have a job.
I could do it. I could actually do it.
This is what the money machine does. It doesn't just take your money, it makes you calculate which piece of your life you're willing to trade for 90 minutes of magic. And somewhere in a boardroom in Zurich, that calculation, your calculation, is called demand elasticity. But the price of a ticket isn't the real cost, not even close. Let's talk about what it costs to protect this party. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Yes, the same one that handles hurricanes. It awarded $625 million in security funding to the 11 U.S. host cities. $625 million for security at a soccer tournament. That's nearly double what a city like Nashville or Portland spends on its entire police force in a year. Snipers on rooftops, Drone surveillance, K9 units, airport-style checkpoints. They're not preparing for a game. They're preparing for a siege. And then there's the story nobody was supposed to tell. June 6th, 2026. Days ago, real time. More than 2,000 SoFi Stadium workers, the cooks, the cleaners, the ushers, the people who pour the $17 beers, they voted 96% in favor of authorizing a strike. 96%. Their demands: pay that reflects the cost of living in Los Angeles, premium wages for mega events, and one more thing. One thing that tells you everything. They want a guarantee that immigration enforcement agents will not enter the stadium while they're working. Read that again. The people who serve the food, clean the seats, and make the building function are afraid that if they show up to work, they might get deported. The people pouring those beers said the math of their paychecks didn't survive Los Angeles rent. Upstairs, the hospitality suites were selling for 6 figures. Both of those facts lived in the same building at the same time. And somehow the building didn't collapse from the contradiction. One union voice put it like this: "We're not asking for anything crazy. We just want to be paid enough to live in the city where we work, and we want to know that when we clock in, we're going to clock out." And then, the twist nobody saw coming. It worked. On June 9th, days before kickoff, the workers reached a deal. Most of them will now earn $40 an hour or more, and they won something almost unheard of: a written guarantee they can walk out if immigration raids threaten their safety. Sometimes the people beat the machine. Money Kid doesn't do politics. Money Kid does numbers. And the numbers say this: FIFA will make about $9 billion off this tournament. The champion gets $50 million. Ronaldo makes about $300 a year. SoFi cost $5.5 billion to build. And the people who keep that $5.5 billion building running had to threaten to walk out during the biggest event on earth just to be paid enough to live in the city where they work. That's not politics, that's arithmetic. And this is where Marco arrives, the place every honest story has to go. The bottom, not broke, not broken, just clear. He's not selling the truck. He's not maxing out a credit card. He's not doing what the machine wants him to do, which is to mortgage a piece of his life for a seat he can't afford in a building he already gave 2 years to.
I wired every light in that stadium. I'll never sit under a single one of them.
And here's the thing: the money machine will never understand. Diego doesn't need SoFi Stadium. He doesn't need a $5,000 seat or an artisanal hot dog or a VIP suite with a view. He needs his dad, and a soccer ball, and maybe 90 minutes where nothing else matters. That's what the World Cup is supposed to be before the money machine got its hands on it.
Papa, where are we going?
The stadium.
But we don't have...
I know, come on.
Match day, they drive, the city wakes up, flags and soccer scarves everywhere. They park 2 miles from SoFi because the lots are full. They walk, and then they see it. Thousands of people. Outside the stadium, no tickets, no VIP passes, no hospitality suites, just people. With flags and face paint and speakers, and someone has a projector pointed at a white sheet hung between 2 food trucks. This is the other World Cup, the one that doesn't show up in FIFA's revenue report. There's a word economists use: externality, an effect that isn't captured in the transaction. It doesn't show up on the balance sheet. Outside SoFi Stadium, the externality was beautiful. Thousands of fans who couldn't get in or couldn't afford to built their own thing. Someone had a projector and a bedsheet. Someone else ran an extension cord from a taco truck. A mariachi band set up next to a group of fans with drums. No security perimeter, no $17 beers, just the game. And when the goal came, you could hear it. Not from the broadcast on the bedsheet, from the stadium itself. 70,000 voices hitting the night sky and rolling over the parking lot like thunder. The walls of SoFi Stadium shook, and so did the crowd outside.
Papa,
Yeah?
you really built this?
Every light, mijo.
It's warm.
Yeah, it is.
The 2026 World Cup will generate billions. It will be watched by billions of people. It will crown a champion and hand them $50 million and a golden trophy. But the most expensive stadium ever built was touched that night by a 9-year-old's hand, and the most important thing that happened wasn't inside it. The World Cup is a money machine, the greatest one ever built. And if you take nothing else from this episode, take this. The machine works. It will always work. It prints money like gravity pulls things down, effortlessly, inevitably, without apology. But a machine doesn't know what a father's hand feels like on a stadium wall, and it never will. I'm Money Kid, and this is just episode 1. Next time we follow the money, every dollar, every handshake, every backroom deal, where the World Cup money actually goes. Subscribe so you don't miss it. See you then. If this story helped you, smash that like and subscribe to Big Money Lessons, new money lessons, every single week.